It's time for another episode of Chillie Chats, where we interview folks from the travel and cruise industry world. To introduce today's guest, here's our host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, my guest today on Chillie Chats is Aimee Rogers from up there in Portsmouth, Rhode Island. Aimee, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Chillie.
Great. You have you're one of the many folks that I have asked the questions about your favorite cruise ships and your favorite ports of call. And you threw me for an absolute, total, complete loop. You threw out something that all the years that I've sailed and been around the water, never heard of this ship before. And it goes way back to like the 30s. You got to tell us the story of the Britanis.
Okay, well, it was 1993, and my family, which was my mother, my sister, and my sister's son, who I think was 7, and my other nephew, who was maybe 12 or 13, we were going to go on a cruise. We had already been on the Monarch of the Seas with the whole family, and that was a brand new ship at the time. Now I think it's no longer in the Royal Caribbean Fleet, but it was a brand new ship, so it was a little pricey. So we were looking to go on another cruise, and we were looking for as cheap as we could find, just, something we could afford. And we saw the Britanis advertised. And I like history. And it was a 5-night cruise to Mexico. It went to Cozumel and Playa del Carmen, because Costa Maya at that point hadn't been built. And we just saw the price was right, everything was right. So we went on the ship with no expectations other than, we hope it's clean, we hope the food is good, and we mostly just went because it was cheap. And it looked old, but it was very well kept up inside. The crew was wonderful. They loved their ship. And we started learning about the history from the crew, and they told us it had been built in 1932. In World War II, it had been reconverted to a troop ship, and it had even been dive bombed once by the Germans. After the war, it was reconverted again back to an ocean liner, and it it had different names. And when we went on it, it was the Chandris Fantasy line, which was the budget arm of Celebrity Cruises. And they told us there were even 2 ghosts on the ship.
That was my next question. You got to tell me about the ghost story.
Okay, well, it's funny because my nephew, who was 13 at the time, or 12 or 13, is 40 now, and he lives with me. And I said to him when he came in the door this morning, "Do you remember the Britanis?" And he said, "Yeah, it had those ghosts on it." He said, "Eric and I would walk down the halls, and we'd hear footsteps behind us. And when we stopped, it stopped." He said, "We were being followed by those ghosts." Anytime a cupboard opened, or he heard a squeak, or the ship settling, a noise like that, it was the ghosts. And they remember it to this day. And he said, "Hey, it's one of my favorite ships." And it had nothing for kids. I'm not even sure there was a kids program there. Because it was a 26,000-ton ship, and it only had a few hundred people. But the service was great. The ship was all like wood and brass. It had too much wood, though. It was never going to. It was at the end of its run when we went on it, because the Coast Guard was passing the SOLAS, Safety of Life at Sea thing, and ships with too much wood couldn't sail anymore, not in this country. So, but anyway, it just was wonderful. I still remember the people. They just love their ship and they love the history. And it was small, easy to get around, and it didn't have a lot of bells and whistles. But I remember so much about it. And I've been cruising pretty consistently since 1991. I cruised once in 1978 when I was 26 to Bermuda from New York. I did it during hurricane season. It was the water was so rough. It took me till 1991 to get back on a ship.
Yeah.
And once I did, it was like we loved it. And we've gone from the small ones to the big ones, to the river cruises, to, I love them all. But the Britanis, it just was, there was nothing like it at that point. Yeah. And it was an ocean liner it wasn't built for the cruise market. It was an ocean liner. It was used, I guess, to carry people around, I think, the Hawaiian Islands to begin with. I'm not sure. I know it started as the Matson line.
Yeah.
But it was just great. It really was.
Well, I read the story that you wrote me about that, and I thought, oh, we got to share this with people. What a great story. You've actually cruised more than I have over the years. We started at the same time. My first cruise was in 78 also. Only I pretty consistently kept going after that. But you've got more total cruises than I do. I've not done river cruises. You like river cruises as well?
I do, but I have to say, because I know you use a scooter.
Yeah.
You can't use those on most river ships. I'm not even sure you can use wheelchairs because everything is so much smaller. Yeah. Even the hallways, you could never park a scooter outside the room, and there would be no room to park it inside the room. I saw a fold-up wheelchair next to the elevator, right? But the elevator and this is on the Viking long ships. Those are the river cruises I've done. The elevator only went from deck 2 to deck 3, and that's it. And so I couldn't figure out why that was there, unless it was there in case someone felt faint or got sick and they needed to have them in a wheelchair so they could be transported somewhere. But for a normal size river cruise, it's hard for people with mobility issues. And I have bad knees, and there were a couple of stops where, they told me, you really don't want to get off the ship. You don't want to get off the boat right now. So, but I love river cruising. I truly do. But, they built a couple of those very wide ones. I think the Aimee Magna is the name, and maybe they would have enough room to accommodate a scooter or a wheelchair or something like that. But it's very tight. It's very luxurious.
Definitely one of the things that I have to consider. Matter of fact, the 2 cruises I'm going on that I booked yesterday in fall of 21 in Europe, which I'm excited about. So I'll be talking a lot about that. But that's one of the things I had to check on.
Right?
That's
the Dawn and the Epic?
The Dawn and the Epic, yep.
I've done both of those. I love those ships.
Yeah. I'm excited about it because I've never done a European cruise.
Well,
all of my cruises has been around United States, East and West Coast, and Mexico and Central America.
It took a long time for us to go out, but once we did, especially the repositioning cruises, we did the Epic last year on a repositioning cruise from Port Canaveral, and I think it ended in Barcelona. We went around Spain, and that was great. If you can handle the bathrooms on the Epic, it's great because they're those split ones.
Yeah.
But if you're in a room by yourself, you don't care.
Yeah. No, and I am. I'm solo all the way now. So. I'm just excited about it. You said your favorite port of call was come on, tongue. I can't even. Malta. I couldn't get it out. Tell us about that.
Well, last February, I went with my brother and his wife, his friend, Vinny, and his wife, and my sister and I, and my teenage nephew. We won't even go into that. But we went on the Meraviglia, and the person, my brother's friend, is Maltese, from Malta. His ancestry is Maltese. And Malta is just such a wonderful place, and it has 2 official languages, and English is one of them. So you never felt like you know, sometimes in places where you don't understand the language, you sort of feel a little nervous, or you feel, I need to ask a question, but I don't know if they're going to really understand what I'm saying. And they do. And it's so beautiful and so historic. Anything to do with history, I like. I loved Pompeii when I did that about 10 years ago. But I didn't really care for the port of Naples. It was a shore excursion that went to Pompeii. But Malta is my new favorite. And if you haven't done MSC, I love the Meraviglia. Yeah.
I've not done an MSC. That was going to be my fall this year. I was hoping to do an MSC, and I was just going to wait until I caught a great deal and grab it and run, even if I had to, leave tomorrow. That was going to be that was my plan for one of the MSC ships. So I still got that on the bucket list to do an MSC cruise, because now that once we get things back to normal, because like I've said on my show many times, I'm the youngest of 3 at 71, so we're still hunkered down, and going to be that way, and until a vaccine or something happens, because it's for protection of me and my sister and her better half. So we all pretty much hanging in there.
That's all anybody can do, and just try to be kind to yourself and other people, I guess.
Yeah. So luckily I've got, my niece that does all our shopping and stuff. So none of us have to be out in public at all. Well, to support our local restaurants, we'll bring, food in 3 times a week. And we're cooking a lot more at home than we have in years. So, but we'll get there. So
I know. And
I just hope by next fall, everything's done. I don't have to worry about it anymore. So,
I can't wait till next fall.
Yeah.
I can't wait till next fall. I'm having withdrawal symptoms now.
Me too. So hopefully things will break loose and we'll get something in the end of this year. That would be awesome. So
I really hope so.
I certainly do appreciate you sharing that story with us. I think that's just fabulous, Aimee. All right, that's it for today, folks. Thank you, Aimee, for being with us. We'll see you guys later.
Thanks, Chillie. I'll be on time.
And end.
Thank you for watching today's chat. We hope you will join us next time as we discuss various facets of the travel and cruise industry. Chillie Chats is a production of Chillie's Cruises and hosted by Chillie Falls.